We're gonna need some chili oil.
Yep. Oh, this is beautiful, isn't it? Just the drippy chili oil with that,
Nice.
glossy
That's
mince.
probably too much, actually.
Welcome to the Sous Chef kitchen with Tim Anderson, where he'll cook his recipe for magic mince with miso, soy sauce, mirin, sake, and share insights into all of these different Japanese ingredients for how you can use them every day. He's written many brilliant cookbooks, mostly focused on love for Japanese cuisine, and his latest book is Japan Easy.
So we're gonna make niku miso today. So niku is meat, miso is miso, and we'll get into miso a bit. It's very easy to put together, and it's very versatile. There's, I think, 4 or 5 different recipes that use the niku miso in the book, and this one is going to be a loaded silken tofu. That's basically just silken tofu with the niku miso on top, some chili oil, egg yolk, and spring onions and coriander. I've sliced some spring onions at an angle, nice and thin. Usually you don't slice them this way in Japanese cooking, but sometimes. But anyway, we're going to put them in the ice water. The ice water does a few things. It's kind of an optional step. For one thing, it takes the edge off like the harsh, sharp onion flavor, makes it a bit more mild. This is just oil to start, veg oil. Lovely spoon, I should say.
Yep.
We'll put some sesame oils in there as well. And I am just going to be kind of eyeballing things today, which is partly the point of the book as well. So this is just some sort of chopped onion, doesn't have to be a fine dice or anything like that. Yep. We'll kind of get this on a medium-high heat and then just sort of let that sweat and brown a touch. We'll let that go a little, like a minute longer, and then we can add the mince and the ginger and the garlic.
Some of the mince.
Some of the mince.
Half of it?
Yeah, that'll do. We're just eyeballing. Okay. We can adjust the seasoning as we like anyway, and then we can go with half the ginger and the garlic. So again, just pretty finely chopped ginger. Yep. This is great. I don't have to do anything. So it's in the name, niku miso. We'll just sort of break this up and get it into crumbs. Yep. So, of course, everybody knows miso now, famous for soup, but of course it is not just a soup. It is a paste made from fermented soybeans and usually rice, sometimes other grains like barley. And it's fermented with koji, which is what they call the national fungus of Japan. And it comes in 2 main varieties, although there are dozens of varieties. And the 2 main ones are white and red. And by the way, this is pork mince. Yep. It's sort of the more common one you'd use in this dish in Japan, but any kind of mince, turkey, chicken, beef, soy mince works as well. So let that brown a little bit. This is an unusual dish in a way because it's also seasoned with soy sauce. Usually in Japanese cooking, it's one or the other, miso or soy sauce. Yeah. And we've got some amazing soy sauces here. Kikkoman is the brand you'll find all over the place, and they're quite good. This is really a cool one because it's unpasteurized and unpasteurized soy sauce, and they package it in this cool bottle with like a vacuum chamber inside. It keeps the oxygen out as you squeeze it. This one is called a marudaizu though, which means whole soybean, and it means the soybeans haven't been defatted, so it's got like this kind of full, rich flavor. And then this one, which is what you got out, this is good stuff. This is called a saishikomi, and it's a 3-year aged. This one takes it a step further by making a soy sauce that uses a previous batch of soy sauce in the brine to ferment it. So it's double brewed. We could add half the miso, so this is about 50 grams, I reckon. And this is gonna give us lovely kind of tang, salt again, umami, fruitiness. This is our base flavor. We'll mash that in because we need to break up the lumps. You're not supposed to boil miso because you start to lose a lot of the aroma. On the other hand, there are lots of Japanese dishes that break that rule, and as you cook, sometimes you draw out other flavors. So we put in the miso when the pan was still quite dry, and so it'll start to caramelize, and that will give this kind of amazing toffee richness as well. And we'll deglaze with a couple of other koji products. So sake, I'm gonna sort of pour this in, if you don't mind. This is roughly 2-ish tablespoons. And this is cooking sake specifically. So sake, obviously something to drink, and you guys stock some nice sake to drink.
We have some lovely sakes,
Don't generally cook with the drinking sake, because the drinking sake is too nice for that. What you generally want is what's called cooking sake.
It's really starting to get that rounded smell. Just a little bit from that sake, it's completely transformed it.
Yeah, and that's what sake does. So for a long time, I kind of didn't understand what sake was for in Japanese cooking because it's often compared to white wine, like in cooking, but it doesn't really give the same flavor. For one thing, it's much more umami, and I realized like as a koji product, it does give this kind of like almost mushroomy, briny kind of flavor. The alcohol in it also does some interesting things to food. It kind of breaks down like strong, gamey, fishy flavors. And it also, I learned recently, firms the pectin in vegetables. So if you cook with sake or mirin, it'll help, for example, like carrots and potatoes hold their shape as they braise. And related, we're going to go with some mirin. So mirin is a sweet sake. The process is you brew a sake, and sort of halfway through the fermentation process, you stop the fermentation by adding distilled alcohol. And then it's aged, and you end up with this kind of honey, sherry kind of aroma. We're going to put in just a drizzle of that. It's quite dark, so we don't want to... That's the soy sauce. So that's most of our seasoning. We're going to add a bit of sugar. I like a light brown or even a dark brown sugar in here.
And we've left this sitting for a little bit while you're talking, but would you leave this simmering for a little while?
Yeah, this is a very forgiving, hands-off dish. You're looking for like a jammy texture at the end. If it's reducing too fast, you can add a splash of water. So what am I missing? I think that's just about everything. But oh, oyster sauce. Not a Japanese ingredient. Not a Japanese ingredient, but you do find oyster sauce in Japanese recipes occasionally. It's optional, but I like the richness and I like, again, the gloss. And the color's nice as well, actually. And now I'm going to give it a taste, and this is where you can adjust. The recipe works, by the way. I'm just not following it because I'm not that kind of a cook.
I'm going to taste a little bit.
Pretty good.
Oh, really lovely.
Pretty good.
Oh, it's delicious.
I think maybe, does it need anything? What do you think? On the salty side. But it kind of should be because you have it with rice or plain tofu.
I could possibly have it slightly saltier, actually.
Some people will do a recipe, like from my book or other books, and think, oh, it's bland, it needs to be saltier, it needs to be more rich, umami, whatever. Start with less. You can always add more, but you can't really take it out. You can try to balance it out, and a lot of Japanese cooking is about that balance. Sake is a good balancer, mirin's a good balancer. But that's it, basically. And then this can go in all kinds of recipes which are in the book. It's great just on plain rice. You can have some greens on the side or put some edamame in there for your 1 of your 5 a day. Right, so shall we make some tofu? So tofu, there's a chapter on tofu in the book, many kinds of tofu. The two main kinds are silken and cotton. Cotton is the kind that kind of comes in a tub. It's the kind that you would want to stir fry. This is the silken tofu, which uses a higher amount of both soybeans in the soy milk and coagulant. And that's why it's a tighter but more delicate curd. Now, all that we really need to do is dress this. So first, I'm going to grab an egg and a bowl. Separate the egg. So we've got our tofu, and we're going to load it up. So first of all, Niku miso, and you can do...
So you just have the tofu directly out of the packet, you haven't boiled it?
Nothing.
At all?
I like it when it's cold. You don't have to keep silken tofu in the fridge, but for this kind of dish, I do like doing that. We're going to need some chili oil.
Oh, this is beautiful, isn't it? Just the drippy chili oil with that
nice.
glossy
That's
mince.
probably too much, actually. But anyway, we're going to lower this. That's probably too much soy sauce as well, but that was just to keep the yolk from sticking to the container. You can use oil there as well. Sesame seeds in Japanese cooking, always toasted. So, magic mince, chili oil, egg yolk, sesame seeds, and then some coriander. Not a typical ingredient in Japanese food, but this is not really a typical Japanese cookbook. And then...
Oh, you're beautiful. Here's one I prepared earlier.
Yes, my iced
Well, you
spring
prepared
onions.
earlier.
They haven't curled as much as I wanted them to because my knife work's not that good. I need to go back to chef school. But they're going to be nice and crisp and cold.
Beautiful.
And lovely.
And then you've got your secret surprise egg yolk in the middle.
That's right. And it's like a self-saucing tofu in a way. There it is. Boom. That looks good. I could eat that.
And so how would you share that? Is that at the table for 2 people?
So have this. Everybody gets maybe a bowl of rice. If you want to go really traditional, miso soup and pickles. Another veg dish or another veg and protein dish, something small would sort of round out the meal.
So this was the fridge cold tofu.
Cold tofu.
With warm mince?
Warm mince. It can be cold too.
Straight from the pan?
Either way.
And then you have the egg yolk on top. And so it's kind of a warm dish by the time you've mixed it together, I guess.
And there's a few variants on this because if you think of tofu as like a kind of mild cheese, a very, very mild cheese, especially the silken tofu has a kind of lovely ricotta texture. Like there's a recipe in here which uses it with grilled peaches and honey and olive oil. Like similar kind of platform. You can go anywhere. Yeah.
Should we just cut it open?
Shall I?
Yeah,
you want to do the honors?
No, you do it. You do it.
All right, let's see if I can get a nice yolk breakage. It's under a forest of greens, but there we go. Look at that. Let's see how I did. how we did.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I didn't get enough, but it's more.
You need
in a
more,
minute.
yeah.
Thanks so much, Tim.
Thank you.
Follow Tim along at Chef Tim Anderson on Instagram. Follow Sous Chef UK, and carry on with our YouTube channel for even more masterclasses.